In this episode, we talk about a Tinder date that ended in murder. We also give you an update about a row between Rahul Gandhi and Amit Shah on Jawaharlal Nehru. But first, we talk about the new Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh. Hi, I'm Rahel Philipose, and you are listening to Three Things, the Indian Express News Show. After BJP won a landslide majority in the Madhya Pradesh Assembly elections, they had an array of candidates to choose from for the position of Chief Minister of the state. And on Monday, the party declared Mohan Yadav as a Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh.
मेरे जैसे छोटे से कार्यकर्ता को हमारे सभी मित्रों ने मिलकर कर आपके मार्गदर्शन में जो जवाबदारी दी, यद्यपि मैं उस लायक नहीं हूँ, लेकिन आज सबका प्रेम, आपका आशीर्वाद, सहयोग मिलेगा तो निश्चित रूप से मैं कोशिश करूंगा। एक बार फिर आप सबका आभार, धन्यवाद।
Now, this decision by the BJP came as a surprise to many because there were other prominent leaders vying for the CM post, including Prahlad Patel and Kailash Vijaywargiya. To know more about why the party decided to select Mohan Yadav for this post, his stint in the BJP, and how this decision might help the party in the upcoming Lok Sabha polls, my colleague Utsa Sarmin speaks to the Indian Express's Anand Mohan in the segment.
So Anand, can you first tell us who were the main contenders for the CM post?
Yeah, so after the BJP was handed a landslide majority in these elections where they won 163 seats, there was a lot of speculation on who would be the CM face. This is because the BJP, well into their early phases in the campaigning, was cognizant of the fact that there was a massive anti-incumbency against Shivraj Singh Chauhan, who is a 4-time chief minister. And because of this, they had to field central leaders, including 3 union ministers, 1 national general secretary, and 4 Lok Sabha MPs, who could sort of like hold different regions in the state, while Amit Shah took over the reins of the campaigning. And the party had projected multiple CM faces in the state in different regions. For example, like Kailash Vijaywargiya would go around and tell his party workers that he hasn't come here to become just a Mamuli MLA. You had a Prahlad Patel who was similarly projecting himself as a CM face in his region. And similarly, many other leaders were of the view that by projecting themselves as a CM face, they can take away the anti-incumbency against Shivraj Singh Chauhan and enthuse party workers on the ground. So some of the front runners for this elections were Prahlad Patel. He was seen as a strong contender also because of the fact that he was a strong OBC face, because OBC community is over 50% in the state, and the BJP has a long line of OBC leaders starting from Uma Bharti to Babulal Gaur and Shivraj Singh Chauhan, of course. So there was a feeling that he may become the chief minister. Then towards the end, there was also talk of Kailash Vijaywargiya and even Narendra Singh Tomar becoming chief ministers. But in the end, the BJP sprung a surprise on everybody, which just left most BJP leaders stunned after they elected a 3-time Ujjain South MLA, Dr. Mohan Yadav, to the top spot.
And why is that the case? Why was Mohan Yadav's selection so surprising for BJP leadership in the state?
Mohan Yadav has largely been relegated to his constituency in Ujjain, and like I just discussed in detail about the people who were at the forefront of the selections, So there was a feeling among the BJP leaders that, the main big faces are the ones who are going to probably take over because you're now heading into a Lok Sabha election. And one of the things that really stunned some of the leaders was the fact that, that he was never really spoken about, and plus, he has made some controversial statements in the past, and the fact that the Congress party had also accused him of influencing the Ujjain Municipal Corporation to change the master plan of the city so that lands held by his family were, turned into residential areas and to benefit him. So someone who's been at the forefront of controversy, so they were of the view that somebody who's got a relatively clean image and someone from the top leadership of the state would take over the reins.
Right, and can you tell us a bit more about the controversies Yadav had faced? What has his political career been like leading up to the BJP's announcement?
See, Mr. Yadav is an RSS man. He has started his career in student politics. He had been an active member of the ABVP. He had served in various roles in the ABVP, and he grew in the 80s under the ABVP. During the 90s, he had served with the RSS. He had served in various positions with the RSS. Mr. Yadav is also sort of like known for hosting several religious events in his constituencies. He is also someone who has a wide array of educational qualifications. He's done a BSc, he's done a MA in political science. He is also a PhD. He's also done an LLB. So he is someone who is well educated. At the same time, he's also a part of the local wrestling associations and the state Olympic associations. And during his stint as the education minister in the Shivraj Singh Chauhan cabinet, he was also at the forefront of introducing chapters based on Hindu epics. But this is just something that has been happening across the country where, where they've been implementing this. And he's also one of those people who sort of like implemented this and is of the view that nobody should have an issue with it and that we're just discussing our history and our culture. So there should not be any issue with that. But at the same time, there are also several controversies around him because he makes controversial remarks. A very recent example of him is when he was challenging the Congress party at a rally in Ujjain where he used, we can just call it unparliamentary language. Then the Congress party had also in 2022 alleged that he had insulted goddess Sita after he made some comments regarding her life. And so there are some controversies where Mr. Yadav has found himself in. But because of the fact that he is a strong RSS face from Ujjain region, he's a 3-time MLA. He's also someone who's grown up from the ground, worked extremely hard. Because of these reasons, people see a factor him becoming the chief minister.
And Anand, could you tell us what sort of message does this selection send to voters ahead of the Lok Sabha polls?
Yeah, so we are just a few months away from the Lok Sabha elections, and what the BJP, we believe, is trying to do is to come up with a strong caste combination in the Hindi heartland so that it can sort of like fight this Lok Sabha election. So in Chhattisgarh, they have a tribal face. In Madhya Pradesh, we have now an OBC face. We are yet to see what is going to happen in Rajasthan. So that is number one. Number two is that the BJP has promised its voters and it has fulfilled its promise. The promise to its party workers was that there's going to be change. A lot of people speculated that Shivraj Singh Chauhan is not really going to step down because his Ladli Behna scheme and the political gamble had worked and that he was an energetic campaigner, did 160 plus rallies and the women votes had squarely come into the BJP basket because of Mr. Chauhan and his energetic campaign, but that still did not help him. So what the BJP is sort of like also promising the people of the state is that, that we hear you and we are going to introduce a new leadership in the state. There's going to be a complete overhaul, a complete change, and you're not going to really get what you expect with the BJP. We will continue to surprise you. So these are some of the messages that have gone on currently, and we are yet to see how they unfold over the next few months.
Right, and Anand, you mentioned that this decision surprised the BJP state leadership. So do we know how the other senior leaders will be accommodated? Do we have a sense of who his deputies will be?
No, so, we have no idea as of now because the BJP is going to playing this very close to its chest. Currently, who are going to be in his cabinet, all of this will be decided on December the 13th when he's going to be sworn in, and we expect several other ministers to also be sworn in. We do not know what will happen to the union ministers and what is going to happen to Chauhan. Mr. Chauhan currently has thrown himself back into the Lok Sabha election campaign and he's launched Mission 29, which is winning all 29 Lok Sabha seats in Madhya Pradesh. We do not know about the other senior leaders. We know that Mr. Narendra Singh Tomar will be the assembly speaker now. The BJP has named 2 deputy chief ministers. This involves the 8-time MLA and former finance minister Mr. Jagdish Devda, who is from the scheduled caste community and he's from Mandsaur, and Mr. Rajendra Shukla, who is Brahman leader from Rewa in the BJP bastion of Vindhya. He has been elevated to the post of a deputy CM. So after a long time in the state, we now have the culture of deputy chief CMs under BJP has returned.
And next we talk about the infamous Tinder murder case. Last month, 3 people were convicted and sentenced to life imprisonment for killing a 28-year-old engineer from Jaipur named Dushyant Sharma 5 years ago. On the 3rd of May 2018, Dushyant's body was found stuffed inside a suitcase in Jaipur. Now, the series of unfortunate events leading up to Dushyant's brutal murder began when he matched with the main accused in the case, 27-year-old Priya Seth, in 2018 on the dating app Tinder. According to the Indian Express's Deep Mukherjee, who covers Rajasthan for the paper, Dushyant used a fake identity on the dating app.
So Dushyant was on Tinder, but he didn't go by his own name. He was moonlighting as a wealthy businessman from the Delhi NCR area. And that had actually got Priya interested about him when she had matched on Tinder with Dushyant, thinking that he is this businessman.
Soon after his murder, the police officials investigating this case quickly discovered that Dushyant was leading a double life. Here Deep tells us what exactly that meant.
So Dushyant got married in 2015 and he also had a child by the time of his death. And Dushyant's family was completely in the dark about the fact that he was on Tinder and he had met Priya Seth. They regarded him as a doting father, loving son, and someone who was very reserved and be even very shy and who would not go out very often, would like to spend time with his family. So that came as a shock for the family when they got to know that he was on Tinder. And till date, they are in a sort of disbelief about the fact that he was on such a dating platform.
But it wasn't just Dushyant who was on Tinder under false pretenses. Turns out, the main accused in the case, Priya Seth, was not on the dating app looking for love. Instead, she had hatched an elaborate plan with her then live-in partner, Dushyant Kamra.
Dushyant was a struggling model and he had a debt of around rupees 21 lakh according to the police and the investigating officer in the case. And Priya and Dushyant had hatched a plan to kidnap someone and demand ransom money so that that debt can be paid. And that is when she had stumbled upon the profile of Dushyant, who under a different name was claiming to be a wealthy businessman on Tinder.
Now, after corresponding with each other for a while, Priya and Dushyant decided to meet on the 2nd of May, a day before his body was found. Deep tells us what happened.
Dushyant had in fact told his family that he will be back in an hour, and he had taken the car which his father usually drove, but that day he had called his father Rameshwar Sharma and said that please don't park the car because I will be needing it in the evening, and then he had gone out.
And so Dushyant met Priya and they went to her rented accommodation in his car. But what Dushyant didn't know at the time was that Priya's live-in partner Dushyant and another accomplice Lakshay Walia were also at her house. As soon as Dushyant arrived at Priya's apartment, he was overpowered by Dushyant and Lakshay. Police said that the trio retrieved Dushyant's identity cards and realized he was not the wealthy businessman he had claimed to be. Meanwhile, as the hours passed by, Dushyant's family started getting worried. Around this time, they received a phone call from Dushyant himself.
They got a call from Dushyant who said that the trucks that his company, he worked in a private company which was in the field of manufacturing building materials. So he had said that some people had apprehended the truck and they were demanding money to the tune of rupees 8-10 lakh and he was trying to settle it and then he will come back.
Soon after that call, his phone was switched off. Unable to contact him, his family members began searching for Dushyant across the city.
But they couldn't find him. Then the next day, there was a call from Dushyant's phone where Dushyant sounded very much afraid and he told his father that, "Father, they are demanding 10 lakh and these people have got me, kidnapped me and they will kill me if I don't get them the rupees 10 lakh. And thereafter, according to his father, the phone of Dushyant was snatched by Priya Seth, who now told his father that either you give us 10 lakh or we will kill your son within 20 minutes. So his father, Rameshwar Prasad Sharma, he pleaded with Priya and he said that at the moment he had rupees 3 lakh, which in the form of a fixed deposit, which he would need some time to liquidate and he is ready to give the money, but please don't kill Dushyant. So his father says that Priya abused him and said that if he disconnected the phone, the moment he would disconnect the phone, Dushyant would be murdered.
Now, his father managed to liquidate a fixed deposit but required Dushyant's PAN card details to complete the transfer of rupees 3 lakh. Now, as you mentioned earlier, soon after kidnapping Dushyant, Priya and her 2 accomplices had taken all of his identity cards, including his PAN card.
So what happened is that Priya, who was on the call all this time, she clicked a photo of Dushyant's PAN card, which was with him when he was kidnapped, and sent it on WhatsApp through his number to his father. And then the moment the rupees 3 lakh was deposited by his father in Dushyant's bank account, the phone was disconnected and switched off. And thereafter, they couldn't contact Dushyant anymore.
Moments after the money was transferred and Dushyant's phone was switched off, the accused withdrew rupees 25,000 from a nearby ATM, which was the maximum daily withdrawal limit. And then they completely fell off the grid. This was when Dushyant's family approached the police.
When the family went to the police tracked the call records of Dushyant, went through the call records, used ground level intelligence, and finally they tracked down the car of Rameshwar Sharma, which Dushyant was driving.
Priya and her two accomplices were trying to flee Jaipur in Dushyant's car when they were discovered by the police and arrested.
And on the same day, they found a suitcase on a highway in Jaipur, which had Dushyant's body stuffed inside it. So the three had murdered Dushyant, stuffed his body inside the suitcase, and then dumped it.
And according to case records, Dushyant had been strangled before being stabbed fatally. And when the police finally went to Priya's apartment, records say that there were bloodstains everywhere. But what was perhaps even more disturbing was Priya's attitude during police interrogation. Deep tells us what happened.
The police said that the accused didn't seem to have any regret over the killing, and they did divulge all the facts to the police, and all this time they didn't give any sign that they were remorseful. And as for Priya said, she had a prior crime record. So when she was arrested by the police for the murder of Dushyant, she already had cases against her pertaining to the Immoral Traffic Act and also blackmailing and also for cutting open an ATM. So she, who is originally from Pali district of Rajasthan, but had come to Jaipur for studies, and the police say that she eventually got involved in the crime world and was looking to kidnap someone to get the debt that her live-in partner Dikshant had at the time repaid when she matched with Dushyant, who was going under a false name on Tinder.
And next we give you an update about a row on Jawaharlal Nehru. Senior Congress leader Rahul Gandhi yesterday gave a sharp retort to Union Home Minister Amit Shah for his comments in the Rajya Sabha targeting Jawaharlal Nehru on the Kashmir issue. Gandhi said that the BJP leader does not know history and keeps rewriting it.
पंडित नेहरू ने अपनी लाइफ दे दी, हिंदुस्तान के लिए, सालों जेल में रहे. अमित शाह जी को शायद हिस्ट्री नहीं मालूम, वो तो मैं एक्सपेक्ट ही नहीं कर सकता हूं कि उनको हिस्ट्री मालूम. वो तो हिस्ट्री को रीराइट करते रहते हैं. ये पूरा का पूरा डिस्ट्रैक्ट करने का है. बेसिक इशू जाति जनगणना और जो भागीदारी है इस देश की, जो धन देश का है, वो किसके हाथों में जा रहा है, ये मेन इशू है. और इस इशू को ये लोग डिस्कस नहीं करना चाहते, इससे डरते हैं, इससे भागते हैं. मगर ये इशू को हम आगे ले जाएंगे और जो गरीब लोगों का हक है वो हम उनको दिलवाएंगे. हमारा भी ओबीसी.
Hailing the Supreme Court's verdict which upheld the abrogation of Article 370, the Home Minister on Monday blamed Nehru for accepting the ceasefire brokered by the UN without taking the whole of the erstwhile princely state from Pakistani invaders in 1948. Speaking in the Rajya Sabha, Shah said that when it came to Jammu and Kashmir, even Nehru accepted his mistake. He quoted from documents from the Prime Minister's Museum and Society at Teen Murti and said that Nehru, in his own words, had said there was no hope of a satisfactory outcome at the UN, and though he thought the ceasefire was a good decision at the time, it should have been taken later. Earlier, while addressing the Lok Sabha on the 6th of December, Shah had alleged that former Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru made two blunders due to which Kashmir residents suffered for years, following which the opposition members walked out of the house in protest. Shah also blamed the former PM for losing Pakistan-occupied Kashmir to the neighbouring nation. He said, quote, "Had Jawaharlal Nehru taken right steps, POK would have been part of India now. It was a historic blunder," unquote. You were listening to 3 Things by the Indian Express. Today's show was edited and mixed by Suresh Pawar. It was written and produced by me, Rahel Philipose, Utsa, Sarmin and Niharika, Nanda. If you like the show, then do subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. You can also recommend the show to someone who you think will like it. Share it with a friend or someone in your family. It's the best way for people to get to know about us. You can also tweet us at Express Podcasts and write to us at podcast@indianexpress.com.